Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for February the 14th through the 20th, 2022. So before we begin the reading, I'd just like to welcome everyone back this week and to also extend a welcome to anyone who's new to the Angel School community and might be viewing this video as their first connection with us. And so we welcome you here. And we, before we begin, just sort of give people sort of an idea of how this reading unfolds. It seems to just sort of be in two parts mainly. One where I just connect in and the information that I receive in symbolism, which I call my hieroglyphics. So you might hear me describe things like a tree or anything. And this is how I understand the information that they're trying to describe to me on a psychological level, and I also will see words as well, so that kind of fill in my sentences. And so that first part will be sort of the energy of their messages in that way, and then the second half of the reading is with the tarot and oracle cards, which gives us more insight into the messages behind the sort of spiritual understanding that we received in the first part. Also, on my channel, I post here daily angel card messages and other types of readings. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and also if you enjoy the video, like it, as that all helps to help get the information out there to others. And also I've been offering a new offer. First of all, just want to let you know that the special offer for my half-hour reading has ended in the month of January, just in case you've been hearing about it for a couple of years now and you might still not have caught up. So just want to make you aware of that. But the angels did provide my first time promotional reading that's always been on my website, but it is available to everyone who has had a reading with me before as a first time for this year. Okay, so you can get a reading with me. I'm also working on an incredible information that's coming through from the Lemurian consciousness or council and the Mer people or merfolk. You may typically, commercialize it as mermaids, but because it's more than, it's so much deeper that we should really refer to them as merfolk. And I'm just gonna be sharing some things with you about that. I'm gonna have a workshop at some point. It was supposed to be this month. I'll see if I can, get everything together for that, because I would want to set it up for like a Zoom workshop. So anyway, there's just a lot of things going on, and this is what I call my spiritual month. I don't know what it is, but I get really huge downloads, and it's just like I process a lot of the lessons that have been coming through for me. And you might have noticed that you have a month like that. I'd be curious if you've noticed in a particular month where there's a tremendous amount of spiritual growth for you. Mine just happens to happen the month before my birthday month, which is next month in March. So just wondering if you've noticed this for yourself. just, leave a comment about when this kind of happens for you. Right, so they're writing the star seeds. And I feel like that there was happening an awakening for many people in terms of discovering their star seed lineage and all of those gifts that are coming up to help the planet at this time and to help us to shift. So in our awareness and consciousness. So let's take a deep breath now. And just really concentrate on the energy within your heart flame. And be aware of all the love and the light that is just radiating out like a beautiful, brilliant sun. And in this light, it may be filled with this golden energy, this yellow golden energy is filled with pink for love and cosmic love, and white for purity. And notice how the white light is sparkling with diamond energy. And an angel is coming towards you with her wings open. And she touches your third eye. And she helps you to immediately see new possibilities. And she's placing a lotus flower in your third eye. And when she does this, this lotus flower opens up and it releases a beautiful pearl. And this cosmic pearl sends a sense of peace throughout your entire etheric field. And there are angels of peace surrounding you now. And they're holding their hands together in a circle. And they're shielding you. They're shielding your energy. And they're shielding you from anything that might cause you to feel anxious. And they now, I see the planet Jupiter. And so they want to connect your fifth dimensional third eye, which is a crystal ball with emerald green light. And Archangel Raphael works with your third eye. And he connects your third eye to the planet Jupiter and its ascendant aspect, Jambe. And this allows you to receive abundance into your life. It also allows you to create the picture of abundance or to receive the new pictures, possibilities of abundance. And Archangel Raphael's robe, his cloak, is a rich emerald green, and it's flowing and long. And the collar of the cloak is a beautiful light green fur. And he's going to place this cloak around you now. To help you hold the fifth dimensional blueprint of abundance. And they're placing a crown of clear quartz crystal that shimmers with the prism of rainbows. And there are so many of them around the circle of the crown. And it's bringing in this beautiful rainbow, clear quartz energy. And this is to clear your thoughts and to radiate and to draw in this beautiful, anytime you see rainbows, it inspires hope and abundance and opportunities. And it allows you to connect into your innate divine wisdom so that you don't have to be afraid of your inner guidance. That as new and exciting and unexpected ideas begin to come to you, that you'll have the capacity to receive them in a soothing and peaceful manner, that you'll have this loving response, an acceptance. And instead of being afraid of what you might lose or have to let go of, that you look forward to the possibilities of what you're gaining. And as you look forward, move in the direction and open your arms to embrace what's coming to you, what needs to fall away will do so appropriately and in a way that will be harmonious and peaceful to you. They're just showing me sort of the Ace of Cups, and what I see is sort of a glass. It almost more like a champagne glass, and it's just flowing over. And this reminds me of the Ace of Cups, but with the champagne glass, it also gives me a sense of some celebration, a feeling of celebration, a feeling of joy. Some kind of celebratory joy. So this could mean, with the Ace of Cups, it means, new love, new spiritual fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. It could also represent new gifts and awareness in your intuition. All you have to be willing to do is to drink. So let's take a look at the Archangel. Oh wow, and how appropriate, this is Archangel Aurora. And you can see she has the colors in the beginning. So this must have been the angel that came to us. And Archangel Aurora, the card says, welcome new beginnings. Let the sun shine in your life. And I get a sense of, where have you been holding yourself back? What have you been resisting? They're writing the word messages. You've been getting messages. And it's something that every time you think about it, it makes your heart happy. Now, Archangel Aurora is the twin flame of Archangel Uriel, who is the Archangel of Peace. And she inspires you with this rose gold, which is this loving wisdom that brings hope and peace into your life. But when she comes into your life, she touches you with fingers of light that immediately inspires new hope and new opportunity and new beginnings into your life and in your reality. So this is a card where in this week, this archangel is going to be inspiring you with new possibilities, bringing sudden awareness to you that will just inspire change. Now, the thing is not to get frustrated or anxious about this. She's writing, there's a period, a time of adjustment. So just because you receive an idea and it scares you because you start thinking about, you think about change as something that's immediate. What they're making you aware of is that a change is unfolding. And change itself accounts for the time for adjustments to be made. Now, you might have your own idea about how much time you need to make those adjustments, and they may not always coincide with what you're thinking. I'm not going to say, you can just spread it out for forever until you can get comfortable with whatever it is that you are having trouble letting go of. But I am saying that the adjustment will be appropriate for you. And most of the times we don't know what that really is, because if it was left up to us, it'd be years before we would be ready or have made all the adjustments and gotten everything in order. I've been, telling myself, like decorating. I never forget the time I chose the color for my wall. It took me over 5 years. And then started on it, and then didn't finish it. And then it took even more time before I finished it. I mean, longer than that. So, it's not, if we are not really open to change, and it's usually because we don't believe that we can make the changes or that we can do them appropriately. We think, oh, it's about being afraid to make a decision, really. And that's something that you have to work on. And just listen to your intuition. And the thing about it is, the way that you can adjust is by taking that message and finding a part of it that you can initiate action with, so that at least you feel like you're moving in the right direction, that you're not just ignoring it, or that you're dismissing it, usually because you're dismissing yourself. And that's really what it is about. They just wrote yes, like we're dismissing ourselves in that moment. And one of the things that's really important that came up in the writings, one of the writings for this week, is to be aware of the power of energy that we channel. It's almost like we're a waterfall. Remember that oneness definition that they gave us, of just unrestrained flow of all of your uniqueness. That is to say, all your abilities, your gifts, your soul has lived throughout lifetimes. It's also about your ancestral lineage. All of this is pouring through you, even though it's in time linear, past, present, future, but it's in as energy, it's all now. And all of that is flowing through you and triggering you. The thing is that we tend to react to it in a negative way. So when we feel triggered, we feel immobilized in some way, like we're in a kind of a traumatized state. But the thing is that this information isn't flowing through you. You aren't as a trauma. It's flowing through you as a gift, because you get to decide what you do with all of that. It's coming up for you to put it, to repurpose it. You can repurpose it, if you will. Like recycling, repurposing something. And yet we spend a lot of time trying to work on it, work it out, fix it, make it better, as if we're broken. Anything that is broken would not be channeled through you. It would be discarded. And it is discarded. But we keep holding, every time we receive it, we keep holding it in its broken state, meaning we don't see it through the oneness of our I am presence. We see it through the lens of our ego and its criticism and its, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's painful, it's woundedness is how you see it. But if you were really present with this information that's always flowing through you, you would be utilizing it to inform you, or to remind you of who you are, to remind you of what you deserve, to remind you of the choices that you have available to you, and to put it to better use, if that's how you see it, as something that is a stain. Well, put it to better use within yourself. Now, my point for talking all about this was that the energy is, you are a tower, a cell tower of energy. This is why we feel so sensitive, especially at this time. We're, feeling emotionally triggered and emotionally sort of oppressed, because you're not just observing the signals that are just flowing through you as a channel. You're observing and aware of what's happening to others and their perception of it, what's happening to them. And if all of us would spend less time perceiving what's flowing through us as trauma, and see it as gifts, and then let it flow into our creative channels to bring about new life, new realities, new possibilities, and new opportunities, we would all feel less sensitive in terms of our emotional, for lack of a better word, nervous system. We would all feel more harmony. My point I've been trying to get to is that when you don't do this, you lock it up, you repress it, you press pause, and then you let it stagnate. And when energy stagnates, it becomes toxic. So as long as it's flowing and and you're picking and making choices about how you want to, like, let's say something happened to you. Well, now this could inspire you to do something that's useful to others. And as you do that, that memory, that strand is healing. It's already healed. You're already whole. But again, there's that period of adjustment where you've got to catch up with what already is. Your higher self, your I am presence, immediately takes everything that happens to you and it finds a purpose. And it turns it into wisdom, and it finds a purpose for it to channel through you as a gift to offer to others. So when you receive these messages, don't get stuck in your woundedness. Because when you get stuck in your woundedness, the wound just festers and becomes toxic. And then all of that spews out into the outer reality that you are observing. And you're going to observe it because the outer reality is the mirror, it's the effect. And the universe set this up to help us so that we always have this mirror everywhere we go. And it's a mirror, the outer reality, because somebody else could walk right up to you and, piss you off for if you're miserable, and they're standing right next to you in your reality, but it's also their reality because they're projecting, and they're just happy-go-lucky. They're just like excruciatingly happy. And that is irritating, right, to you. But it's because that they have not held back. They have the same wounds, or they've had the same wounded experiences, yet they have listened to their guidance and they've channeled that wisdom and they've turned it into a service, and therefore what they're spewing out into their reality, the one that you're both looking at, it's a very different reflection. And the reason that the universe creates this reflection is not to make you more miserable, but to help you to know that you are the one creating that misery, because it's all about how you interpret information. And we're always interpreting information. So that if you're miserable, and there's nothing wrong with being miserable, because remember, every situation has a purpose and a reason, meaning that the reason, and if you ask yourself the question, it will inspire you to that new answer. Wow, the time. But it's really important that you are aware and that you have the ability to be aware. So it's a blessing when the mirror works. And then you could ask yourself, well, I'm miserable. Well, then ask yourself, what would really make me happy? Because that's the reason for the mirror. Remember, I've been saying, and I clumsily said it last week, that you have to find the question. We might ask questions like, why is this happening to me? That's not the question that provokes the answer that allows you to activate your own free will. Often people look to the universe, spirit, for answers. but they will not usurp your free will. If you ask the right question, the question that's on your heart, that's truly on your heart, that's truly in your heart rather, you'll find the answer, because cause and effect. The cause is the question and the effect is the answer. But you got to ask the right question. And it's not like it's a trick question. It's got to be the question that moves you forward as a first understanding. It's got to be a question that moves you forward. Why is this happening to me? Is a question of blame or lack of responsibility. So you won't hear the answer. It's not that the universe does not want to answer you, or that the universe is being indifferent or silent. You are not asking the question that you need to hear. And when you do, that's when the answers flow. So think about this for, when will I find my soulmate? Does that sound like a question that is out of reflection from the mirror that's going on around you? So you're feeling lack, you're experiencing lack in love. Is that really going to get you the answer? So a question of responsibility, what do I need to do? Or what do I need to change in myself? Or what do I need to be aware of? But you got to find that question, because it's personal for each of us. And there are reasons behind why the lack you're experiencing. But the reason for that is also the reason for the transformation that it's provoking for you. And that's what I mean by that mirror. Okay. So it says, welcome new beginnings. Let the sun shine in your life. And only you can do that. The angels, God will not usurp your free will. And it's okay, because I've been there, and we can, mope about it. We can be miserable about it. But nothing will change until we're willing to find the question that the heart is asking, because that's how the universe can intercede without affecting your free will. You came to learn these lessons, not the rest of the universe, because it didn't incarnate. You did. You came to find these treasures of wisdom through these life experiences that you mapped out for yourself. It's not to say that you still have free will and you can decide that you want to go in a different direction, but it's really in your heart. It's you can't get away from it, but it's not forcing anything. But there's many possibilities that you can move forward from something that is a crisis or something that is making you miserable. And that's open to you. All right, so let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. And this is interesting after that little talk. We have the 5 of Water. And this is a card of, emotional disappointment, that we're crying over something that, something that happened. The crying over spilt milk is the traditional sort of phrase for this card. And you have a choice. And the energy of the number 5 is about change, right? It's also instability, insecurity. And if these are the things that are mirrored around you, how can you create the security that you want? How can you make things stable? So you may not be able to immediately change. And so the whole idea is I keep talking about the outer reality like it's not real, like it's just a, a consequence. And I do mean it like that, because what's truly real to you is those feelings deep down inside of you. That is actually the reality that your higher self is living, and your higher self, therefore, is holding that around you and waiting for you to catch up with it. And so most of the times you feel these things deep inside of you, but when you open your eyes, they contradict everything. That's what we call real, you know? And if you were to act upon that, what you probably are considering just your imagination, if you start acting upon your imagination, soon enough, you'll start to see the transformation, that you'll go from feeling miserable or depressed to feeling better. And then if you keep pretending, meaning if you keep acting on what your because your imagination, your ego is telling you that's a lie. That's a lie. That'll never happen. But if you keep working towards it, you keep listening to those ideas and following the guidance of your heart, eventually it won't be. And it can't be a lie if you're feeling good as you're doing something, as you're creating something, as you start to see that even though that thing has not manifested yet, but you start to experience synchronicities, like support or things coming into your life that help that reality to become even more real, like through networking or etc. Or somebody saying, oh, I met this great person. I think I'd love for you to meet them, whether it's romantic or whether it's for business. That is the response to the truth that's within you. So we have to switch the script. We have to stop putting the cart before the horse, because the cart, the outer reality, will never move the horse reality, the reality that exists within your heart. You have to lead by the reality that's in your heart, the horse, but with faith. And you have to trust the feelings as you take the action steps. And you just can't remain still and keep imagining, which then is just daydreaming, because I'm good at that. You have to take your imagination, which turns into creativity, and start taking steps. When you take one step without the evidence in the outer reality, that's when you wake up the reality within you. And I can tell you this for certain. Once you do that, you will wake up the reality. If your outer reality tells you that the world that you now are miserable in, but it's secure because it's there, you know it's there. If this keeps telling you, oh, I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. Okay. So, we just, it's so funny because when some things get so real, then something just pulls it out of you. But the thing I think I'm getting at here, that they're trying to get at, is do not give in. Do not give in to this self-doubt. Don't let it talk you out of where you're going and what's really unfolding for you. All right, it might come back to me. All right, look, there's that crown, similar, it's not crystals, but it's all these candles here. And they paying attention to your ideas is going to be so important here. Now, this is the Knight of Fire. And usually you see this guy racing into the, taking all the risk without any thought to them. And that's what I was getting to about this faith piece. This is what really the faith is that when you take that step, when you actually take the risk, you annihilate the story of misery that has been told to you by your ego. It completely annihilates it because all of a sudden things happen. The ego does everything to prevent you from taking action. It makes everything alarming and threatening, like life or death. Like you'll be out in the cold, this kind of stuff. But it's actually when you take this step of faith based on the inner reality, that the reality of the inner self becomes powerfully potent, and you start to see a network of synchronicities unfold. The outer reality, the ego uses it to impose intense restrictions on your activity. It counts on it. It wants you to be stuck in the daydream. It just wants you to be stuck in a daydream and not to be imaginative and creative, to not take action steps, to go against the grain of what's out there. And why would we want to keep empowering that when what's inside of us, although it has no validity yet, it's just bubbling over in us. It creates such a passion and happiness, joy, exhilaration that you've never felt. And we love feeling like this. It's like an orgasm, right? We're not here to deny these things, the pleasures of our inner reality. We're here to express them. And so, this knight looks towards the future. And it looks like he's holding himself. It looks like, but he's bracing himself because the card or sheet, what it's telling us is that brace yourself, because as soon as you follow these ideas, everything will change. So if you want to get out of this state, then race into those ideas that are coming to you. Now we have the High Priestess. And this is a very beautiful card because you just see energy. You just see energy. And the face barely. It's like the High Priestess is just this level of the quantum field. And that we need to really go in and just be sort of in a state of grace where we have full awareness and access to this sort of power plant of the universe. Oneness, this power plant. And in this power plant of the universe, all the activity that creates your reality is at its most potent. Its potency. And so just have an awareness of this. Keep going within. This is why we tell you to go within. Not just to get stuck there, but to go within. Because when you connect into this battery, the power plant of oneness, the power of your truth will flow through you and just annihilate the fears of your outer reality. I know this because I've experienced this month. And I tell you with absolute certainty, but you have to be willing to face the dark. And I don't mean the dark as in something negative. I mean the silence. We ask a lot of questions to the universe and they seem not to be speaking because they speak silence. Vibration, energy, power. It's silent in a way. It's frequency. And when it interplays with the human mind, the brain, and your nervous system, it sparks images, ideas, thoughts. It transforms beliefs, transmutes unhealthy ones, and makes a clear understanding of who you are and what you deserve and where you truly are going, because you're already going. It's only in the outer reality. Outer reality keeps you from seeing that you are going. And the only reason that you're miserable is because you know you're not going. And that's what it's there to tell you. You're not going. You're holding, you're resisting. There's no big thing that needs to be fixed except that. To accept that understanding and then to figure out how to get going. And the only way to do that is to go into the inner reality and become aware of what is going on for you. All right, and the bottom card is the 3 of Earth. What I think is interesting about this card is that the person, this is like usually you see 3 people working on a project or they're sculpting something. And what it is here is that the person is the sculpture. And it's almost like the work that's being done in a team effort is sculpting something out of you. And so that's what life is. When they say there's always a reason, because this is what's always happening. So when you keep saying why not you? And how am I being transformed by this situation? What is manifesting for me? What opportunities are manifesting for me? What opportunities are possible for me because I knew or experienced this? Those are the questions you need to be asking in order to get moving with what already is. I send you lots of love and angel blessings. Have a profoundly moving and beautiful, glorious week. God bless you.